Tobias Slicler is a lighting genius when it comes to changing light temperature in the dead middle of a scene. His knowledge when it comes to lighting stems from the family tree of filmmakers. His father, Martin Slicler, is a documentary filmmaker and artist. His mother, Anna Moen Slicler, an editor. His brother, Jochen, also a documentary filmmaker. Like their father and his sisters, Tina, film producer, photographer, and painter. It's safe to say film runs in the family. Tobias grew up in Baden-Baden in 1979. He moved to Vancouver, Canada, where he later went to college at Simon Fraser University. After graduation, he worked on documentary films. In 1997, he moved to Los Angeles, where his career took off. His main collaborations are with Bill Condon and Peter Berg. His first collaboration with Bill Condon was Candyman, Farewell to the Flesh, Dreamgirls, The Fifth Estate, Mr. Holmes, Beauty and the Beast, and The Good Liar. His collaboration with Peter Berg include The Rundown, Friday Night Lights, Hancock, Battleship, Lone Survivor, and Spencer Confidential. His most notable works include Friday Night Lights, Lone Survivor, Dreamgirls, and Beauty and the Beast. He has been nominated for 3 awards, those including Black Reel Awards for Outstanding Cinematography for the film A Wrinkle in Time, Online Film and Television Association for Best Cinematography for the film Dreamgirls, and lastly, Phoenix Film Critics Society Awards for Best Cinematography for the film Beauty and the Beast. Unfortunately for him, he did not win any of those awards. For gear, he tends to use Panavision cameras and lenses in Dreamgirls and Friday Night Lights, but in Lone Survivor, he used the Phantom Flex camera and the Red Epic camera. But in Beauty and the Beast, the lenses and camera Tobias used are the Arri Alexa XG camera, and he tested out every lens possible. He did not want to go anamorphic because he wanted to keep the focus deeper. With the anamorphic, it gets shallow focus, and he did not want that. And he wanted to show off the beautiful sets, so he went with a spherical lens. But he went and tested out the lens beforehand in terms of how they actually reacted towards the candlelight, because a lot of the time he wanted the candlelight to be the actual light source in the scene. For example, when Belle walks through the prison towers and she had real candles in her hand that would light her, so he tested all the lenses and which ones would react best to the real candle, because some of them glare a little bit more. So he ended up using the Leica lenses, the primes, for the majority of the movie. These are high-speed lenses, the 1.4s, which showcase the colors in a richer manner, making the blacks look breathtaking. The Leica Summilux C, Tobias thought they took the highlights of the candle extremely well and looked nice on skin tones. He said they were the perfect lens for this movie. In the opening scene of Beauty and the Beast, he used the lights Kinos Flos, airy sky panels, and changed the temperature as the scene moved, which is how he achieved the lighting change in the middle of the scene. He also used dimmers. Every light always had dimmers, he said, and everything was mainly LEDs. He even said that he thought coming into the movie that he was going to light it more traditionally with old-fashioned tungsten lights because of the time period of the piece and the fairy tale. But then in pre-production he changed it over because of the challenge of changing the overall lighting during a shot, so he chose LEDs instead. He says this is one of the first movies he's ever done this for. Another one of Tobias's lights in Beauty and the Beast, she cleaned the window and let the sunlight through, and the whole room changed in one shot. Which is kind of the same idea of changing the lighting from a darker light to a cooler place in the castle when she comes in and she's changing the whole tone of the castle by letting sunlight through. We move through from a cooler color temperature to a warmer color temperature. Tobias utilizes wide shots for majority of Beauty and the Beast because Bill Condon wanted to show as much of the production design as possible, which is why he went with a wider lens as much as possible, in a close-up instead of a distorted wider lens. He would go in with a 29 or a 35 millimeter to keep the actors in the space instead of using longer lenses where it would throw off the focus and you would not be able to see the beautiful set. He said he was very strategic with the close-ups because he thinks that they have been overused in movies nowadays, and he really wanted to show off the set and have the characters really live in those spaces. And it makes the close-ups even more intense and emotional. Now for the iconic Be Our Guest number. Shockingly to me, there was no use of drones in this scene. Tobias used a hydroscope from Chapman. He had the 70-foot one, the 40-foot one, and the 20-foot one. He gave all the credit to the key grip he had because there was a lot of knowledge with music and rhythm. He also said that his dolly operator was very talented with the pacing of shots. Before the sequence of Be Our Guest, he does not take full credit for the lighting. He had help from Jules Fisher and Peggy Eisenhower, who he worked with on Dreamgirls. They then came in and designed a very theatrical lighting setup, and he said he made it possible on film. Ironically, this scene I chose to analyze was his favorite scene to light, this being the opening scene. This scene starts super bright and colorful with the people dancing around and having fun. Then the lightning strikes, the enchantress enters the doors, and the candles all go out, and it changes the entire lighting, but also the mood of the ballroom from super light and airy to super dark and transfixed. As well as the temperature of the lighting changes from orange tungsten lighting to super cool blue hue. Then the lighting is more from the moonlight, which is very difficult to achieve, but Tobias achieved it through LEDs.